This year's ABBA Gold Cup in Detroit, 3 drivers literally took the air in the Air National Guard Series. Mike Webster, J.W. Myers, and then Scott Liddicoat got their wings in a most unwanted way. 2 of those boats have been repaired and are back in action, competing for the Columbia Cup from Tri-Cities, Washington. Sportsnet presents the Air National Guard Series. Today, it's the 47th running of the Columbia Cup for the H-1 Unlimited Hydroplane on the Columbia River from Tri-Cities, Washington. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Weber. Thanks for having us in for the race. 3rd event of the year for the Air National Guard Series. Dave Vilwalk won the first 2. He comes in off the Gold Cup win in Detroit. Here in Tri-Cities, Vilwalk was the fastest qualifier and easily plucked 400 points with a win in Heat 1A. Steve David is second in points, qualified second, and he banked 400 points with a win in Heat 1B. Now, over the last 2+ seasons, Dave Vilwalk and Steve David have combined to win 13 of the last 14 events. And those same 2 drivers have combined to win the last 8 events here. They've learned how to manage the mighty Columbia River. But this weekend, those 2 veterans could be challenged by an impressive rookie, Jimmy Shane, who got 400 points with a win in Heat 1C.
I raced here back in 2007, 2008, so I know what the river can bring about during the heat races. It was exactly what I was expecting. The first turn was pretty lumpy. Everywhere else in the course was actually pretty nice, so it's exactly what I expected.
So the weekend's off to a good start for some teams. For the other side of the story, here's my partner, Mike Allen.
Thank you, Bill. This weekend, the river's flowing a lot quicker than the drivers would like. The Columbia is known for a rough first turn and some rollers down the back straightaway. Already this weekend, it's taken its toll on both man and machine. Veteran Kip Brown is on crutches after breaking his left tibia Friday morning when a steering problem caused his boat to snap out from underneath him. Nate Brown, Kip's uncle, will strap into the cockpit today. The river also robbed 2 teams of their precious propellers in 1A. Mark Evans sheared a blade, and the 2011 Rookie of the Year Scott Liddicoat snapped his prop shaft and propeller off just behind the strut, warming up for 1A.
And Bill, that just shows you how rough this river's going to be today.
You're right, Mike. It's going to be a challenge. Dave Vilwalk was the top qualifier. Steve David, number 2 in qualifying. Jimmy Shane was 4th. There are the points after the first round of heats. Here's the event format. 3 sets of 3-lap heat races, 6 boats in the final, plus a trailer. As always, a big crowd here, and they get a bonus race, the Dash for Cash, that featured a test of some new green technology in unlimited racing. Steve Montgomery has the story from the pits.
A very big topic in motorsports, biofuel. Scott Carson was president and CEO of the Boeing Company, involved in the introduction of biofuel in the airline industry, now doing the same thing in the Air National Guard hydroplane fleet. And Friday night, Scott, you put biofuel in Steve David's ride, the Oh Boy Oberto, and that went pretty well.
Yeah, performed exactly as we had hoped, so that is very well. We ran about 10 degrees hotter than we thought we would with the standard fuel, but the performance of the boat turned 110%, so we're real happy with that. Now the issue is getting an oil company interested to produce it for us so the cost of the fuel comes down. But I think being here with the Unlimiteds is a big part of making this public, bringing it to our attention and solving the problem.
So it's 1 time out, 1 victory so far for the Obio Oberto.
Very good, Steve. 95 degrees here in Tri-Cities. They're flying in the air and on the water. And Heat 2A when the Air National Guard Series continues.
The 2012 Air National Guard Hydroplane Series is brought to you by Air National Guard. Visit goang.com to learn more about exciting opportunities in your area. By Whispering Turbines, where life begins at 200 miles per hour. And by Peters and May. For professional management of your worldwide boat transport and logistics, remember Peters and May.
Air National Guard Series on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington. Boats on the water for Heat 2A. And this heat features the top 3 in national points and the winners from Heat 1A, 1B, and 1C. Vilwalk, Shane, and David all with 400 points after the first round of heats. You can see the drivers fighting for position, and the big names are getting aggressive when they come to the 1-minute buoy.
It's rough, so it's all about setup, getting a decent start, trying to get into that turn, absolutely with everybody or a little bit ahead, and then getting into the good water in the back straightaway and try to grow some legs on the thing. But definitely getting through that first turn is critical.
If there's 6 boats in each heat, it's going to be horrendously rough. So then it's going to be a matter of trying to keep everything in one piece for another couple of heats before the final.
And it is going to be a battle out there on rough water with 6 boats on the Columbia River. You see the Peterson May countdown clock. These are the GoPro onboard cameras. Shane has lane 1. Bill Walk is in lane 2. That's Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto Miss Madison in lane 3. Then in lane 4, it's Brian Perkins making his first appearance in the 2012 season. Greg Hopp is in lane 5, and outside of him, you'll see John Zimmerman in lane 6. Countdown clock inside of 5 seconds. Getting ready for the green flag on the Columbia River. The start is good. All boats are legal as they charge toward turn 1 on this very fast and rough river.
Got some of the best right here, Bill. Lined up deck to deck going into the first turn.
They'll walk in the middle between Shane and David. Oh, wow. Really lifted that left sponson.
If that Skidfin was about an inch shorter, we would... Whoa!
John Zimmerman caught a buoy, and it looked like he got forced out there, Mike.
I think it was the domino effect, Bill. It starts on the inside and ends up, if you're on the outside, you're the last guy to get it.
Everybody drifting out just a little bit each time.
Exactly. With that rough water and those Skidfins breaking loose, the boats are jumping out of lane.
And Zimmerman's going to have to pay the price. That'll be a penalty. We'll see what the officials decide. Here are your leaders. Jimmy Shane on the inside in lane 1. Dave Billwalk in lane 2. Through turn 2 and down the front stretch.
Nice boat ride here, Bill. Jimmy Shane on the inside has got to be a little bit nervous looking over to his right, but he's about as solid as they come.
Yeah, he doesn't look intimidated.
No, he's not. When he straps in, he's ready to go win. It doesn't matter who's next to him.
Dave Billwalk, 150.8 miles per hour on that first lap, and Shane right there with him. Billwalk has the lead through that rough turn 1. You see him bouncing again. You see the boat almost literally jumping to the right.
Yeah, Bill, that's this Columbia River is infamous for that first turn. And those rollers, the way they come at you, there's nothing you can really do. You just got to ride it out.
On board with Brian Perkins in the 21. Brian's first appearance of the 2012 season. Trying to pick up some valuable points here in this heat. He's got Greg Hopp on his right. Now back up front, you can see Billwalk trying to stretch it out over Jimmy Shane. Shane has the inside lane, but Billwalk has the horsepower.
He does have the horsepower, Bill, and Jimmy's no dummy. He knows that this is just another heat. It's not the final. He's going to do everything he can to run hard, but yet keep it clean.
But one thing Jimmy gets a kick out of is running against these two. Against Dave Billwalk, against Steve David. Back on board, O'Brien Perkins in the rooster tail. It looked like I was Greg Hopp on his outside.
Wow, Bill, I tell you what, a little bit more to the right, he'd have been upside down instead of on the infield.
He hooked it. Now he's going to try and get it restarted. Tough break for Brian Perkins.
We'll see if there was any calls made by the officials. Can't really tell if there was room for Brian to get around this corner or not.
You see him, he gets the engine relit. He'll try and get back in this race, but he'll be well behind the field. There's Billwalk out front in the spirit of Qatar. On board with Dave Billwalk. Looking for another 400. Whoa, what is that?
Wow, Bill, unfortunately, that is not an afterburner. That's either a gearbox or the engine itself.
Jimmy Shane goes to the lead as Billwalk coasts to a stop on the Columbia River. And Jimmy Shane, in his first full year in an unlimited hydroplane, is going to have a win in Heat 1C and a win here in Heat 2A and 800 points after his first 2 heats. Meanwhile, for Billwalk, huge disappointment, and it will be a battle for him to make the final here in Tri-Cities. 147.3 the average speed for Shane. John Zimmerman got a penalty but still came home 4th. A DNF for Dave Billwalk in the spirit of Qatar and no points. Getting ready for Heat 2B, that's Nate Brown, and before he got into the cockpit of the Miss Red Dot, he gave us this week's edition of the Crew Chief Confidential.
We're asked this question all the time on the U-17 Miss Red Dot. How do we get 3,000 horsepower all the way to the back of the boat where we spin a little 16-inch propeller? Well, the power turbine has a power turbine shaft that's attached to the PT. It stops about here. At this point, we have what's called a power output shaft that goes inside the engine that transfers the power to the motor to gearbox shaft. Here's the power output shaft. Here's the motor to gearbox shaft. At this point, it goes into the gearbox. Once it goes into the gearbox, it reduces the RPM from 15,500 RPM all the way down to about 9,500 RPM. From there, it goes out of the gearbox through this shaft, and by the way, all the shafting is made from Vasco C350, very high strength material. At that point in time, it goes back here to the coupler, where we have a prop shaft that plugs into it. A keyway is in there, where the propeller is torqued onto the shaft at 600 foot-pounds of torque, and that's how we get the power to the back of the U-17.
And what's it feel like when you light it?
All of that just equates to an incredible adrenaline rush.
Dave Villwock's going to need a rush to make the final back to Tri-Cities and Heat 2B in a minute. Huge crowd enjoying the Air National Guard Series here in Tri-Cities. 95 degrees today. So trying to stay cool in the Columbia River between the heats. Now, in the pits, guys are working hard. This is the spirit of Qatar.
Yeah, Bill, these tail feathers are the least of their problems. These guys need to figure out why that thing caught on fire out there. It's either a gearbox or an engine they're going to have to replace.
Going to have to work hard and fast. Remember, Villwock with a DNF in 2A and no points. Meanwhile, the boats for Heat 2B getting ready, including J.W. Myers in the number 11. It's amazing this boat is back and running after it flipped in Detroit. Here's your unlimited access pass with Scott Rainey of Peters and May.
Well, my biggest concern, first off, when the accident happened, is that J-Dub was okay. The second biggest concern was, we got to evaluate what the damage was. We took a look at it, and yeah, we'd been through this before. I didn't really feel that it was anything that we couldn't accomplish, but we wanted to show up here in Tri-Cities and have the boat look good and represent Peters and May, in a real positive fashion. And our goal was from day one, get this thing painted and make it look good and make it run like it had before.
From the instant the boat was on dry land, it was all hands on deck to help out.
We had our regular crew guys in there, but we had a lot of help from a lot of other people. Sponsors showed up, pitching in wherever they could. We had family members show up. We had friends show up. Anybody who, felt they wanted to help us, they just came and helped. It was pretty great. We had a lot of support from a lot of great people.
It's good that help was free because this was an expensive undertaking.
It probably totals upwards of $100,000, maybe a little bit more than that in damage. But we overcome that. We look forward and keep moving, move ahead, move on. So in a massive effort by the race team to fix the boat, we had to cut all the damaged deck off this left sponson, about 8 feet worth, and then replace it with new carbon fiber deck, plus some of the framework inside was damaged. All the above water stuff, the cowling, the uprights and the rear wing, that stuff was all torn off, and we didn't have spare parts and any of that stuff. So in a matter of 7 days, we had to build all this stuff that usually would take 2 or 3 months to build.
A rebuilt boat was not the only result of all that labor. A sturdy team bond was forged as well.
This is a great team. I'm glad to be part of it. Let's have some fun. Keep doing our thing. All right? Let's do our thing. Come on. Let's represent Peters and May positively. Thumbs up. Great team. Great teamwork the past 2 weeks, you guys. Good job. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
11!
And the Peters and May Unlimited Hydroplane ready to go with JW in Heat 2B. JW third in his first heat, so he needs some points. And on that rundown you see there, Scott Linicoat, a DNF in his first heat, so he's also desperate for points. Scott Rainey almost made it sound easy the way they put that thing back together.
He made it sound easy, Bill, but believe me, there's a ton of man hours that are involved. There's a lot of work that you don't even get to see when it's talking about the structural integrity of the hull. You just see the cosmetics, but there's a lot of work to get this thing back on the water.
Peters and May countdown clock inside of 10 seconds as they make the turn and head for the start-finish line. You do not want to jump the gun. It's going to cost you a lap. J. Michael Kelly on the inside. Green flag in the air. All boats are legal. The start is good as they charge for turn 1.
Well, Bill, looks like J. Michael pretty much nailed that one. He's got a pretty good head start over these guys already.
That's Scott Linicoat in lane 2. Not a good start for Scott. It has not been a good weekend for him so far. He qualified third, but not much luck since then. From the Whispering Turbine Skycam, you see the boats going through turn 1. And you see J. Michael Kelly pulling away on the backstretch. This boat is fantastic in the turns, but now maybe finding some speed and some handling on the straightaways.
They've struggled with that, Bill, since they built this boat brand new last year. It is wickedly fast through the turns, but they seem to be off on the shoot speed. Maybe they've got a package here with a prop and a gearbox that's going to make this boat quicker all the way around the race course.
That's on board with Nate Brown, driving for Kip Brown, who was injured here on Friday. Kip broke his left tibia when his boat spun out from underneath him, so it's Nate in the boat today, and he is in a battle with his longtime rival, Mark Evans. This is for third. Nate on the inside, but Mark trying to catch him. Now on board J.W. Myers, and you heard Scott Rainey tell the story of how they repaired this boat. You can read a lot more about that at h1unlimited.com, and remember, always follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. You see the front wing working there hard.
Yeah, Bill, he's trying to get that thing up in the air. He's looking for speed right now.
Look at how rough it is out there, Mike.
That's the typical first turn. Doesn't matter what lap, how many boats, there's going to be some rough water. Wow, look at that one.
You guys really working hard, hanging on. There's J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Plumbing. He's your race leader, looking for 400 points, trying to punch his ticket to the winner-take-all final. Oh, we lost the Cowling.
Wow, Bill. And there goes Scott, who just caught it.
He found it, yes. Behind them, Mark Evans in the 57, and he's going to have to go around it. All boats look to be okay. How's this going to affect the handling of the 37?
Shouldn't affect them at all, Bill. They're just lucky that when that cowling came off, it didn't take out the rear wing as well.
Now, does he know it left?
He does. The crew's either told him or he's probably seen it in the mirror.
Well, it's not affecting the way he's racing. He is out front here on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, taking the white flag and heading for 400 points, but that boat's still light.
Still airing it out, Bill. Cowling or no cowling, he's giving it all it's got. Look at that. Even when you're leading the race, it's still rough in that first turn.
That's because you have the 6 boats out there, and near the end of the heats, you can still feel the water roughed up from the guy that's running last.
That's true. It doesn't take long to make a complete lap around here, so you're coming right back in your own wash.
Going through the field, that's Scott Liddycoat in second. On board with Nate Brown, who's going to be turning wrenches. He's turning the wheel this weekend. There's Mark Evans in the 57. Again, you can see how rough the water is. J.W. Myers in that rebuilt Peters and May machine. Ryan Mallow, his first start of the season, driving the Fred Leland Unlimited 2 and really getting a rough ride in that boat.
Bill, that's the difference from being out front, leading this race, and then being in the back.
That's a tough way to make your debut in 2012. Checkered flag out. J. Michael Kelly has the win and 400 points here in Heat 2B. Fastest lap for J. Michael, his first lap over 145 miles an hour. So 400 points for J. Michael Kelly, 300 huge points for Scott Liddycoat, followed by Nate Brown, Mark Evans, J.W. Myers, and Ryan Mallow. The Spirit of Guitar team trying to make repairs so Dave Philwatt can gain some desperately needed points when we come back to the Columbia River. Third stop of the season for the Air National Guard Unlimited Hydroplane Series. We're here in Tri-Cities, and the ANG presence very strong, and for some reason, they love the gyro ride. Meanwhile, how about that ride for J. Michael Kelly?
J. Michael, that was an excellent heat win. You're not the fastest boat out there. You had to do what you had to do to go out and get lane 1.
Yeah, definitely not the fastest. Lane 1's very important when you're about 10, 50 miles an hour up from the rest of the guys. To get those fast guys stacked up on the outside. And that cowling, I'm going to have them hook up a switch in the boat or something so I can have a breakaway cowling, because it really comes alive when it comes off every single time.
And they've got it back. They've got some work to do. Probably have to find a replacement cowling. We'll see how that pans out as we continue. Now take a look at the points after the first 2 rounds. The top 3 guys are good, but from Dave Philwatt on back to say Scott Liddycoat, you got 7 guys going for 4 spots.
Scott, second place finish was pretty strong, but you also had to deal with some extra debris out there.
Yeah, I guess it was lap 2 on the back chute. I saw J. Michael's cowling go in the air. At that point, you really can't move too fast to avoid it, so just hope you couldn't do much damage.
Just a little bit of damage here to the front sponson, nothing on the top end. Everything seems to be all right?
Yeah, it seems like everything else is fine. I was worried, the rear cowling or the rear wing, but nope, they're all good, so we'll put a little bit of paint on here or something. Pretty it up and we're ready to go.
The air show is a spectacular part of the Tri-Cities Waterfoggers, and it features a wide mix of airplanes. One of the best performances is provided by the Air National Guard aerobatic pilot, Lieutenant Colonel John Clapp, who is part of the cast of this week's Air National Guard Spotlight. Because of his incident in Detroit, Mike Webster is only here in Tri-Cities serving as a driver's representative, but he's got a chance to do a different kind of flying, courtesy of the Air National Guard.
All right. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning, John.
John Clapp. How's it going?
Good.
Ready to do some flying?
Ready, let's do it.
Ready to get this thing on?
Oh, yeah.
172 Juliet Kilo, runway 30 at Alpha, cleared for takeoff, flat runway heading. We're going to go over the hydro course and head southwest bound. I'll call you back inbound for landing.
As I've always
always wondered, what it's like. I've been on airline flights and really wanted to know what it was like to be one of these acrobatic airplanes.
Basically negative 1G right there.
He told me he was going to give me a ride, so he asked if I wanted the easy or the hard, and I said, well, we're going to do it, let's do it, and it didn't disappoint.
Double stamp right, 1, 2, to inverted, left held, stamp left, 6 buried. Alright, that's kind of a crazy one.
He communicated and made sure I was doing okay after every maneuver, and asked me if I wanted to try some more, and we kept going, and eventually at some point, man, I broke out into a cold sweat, and I said, let's hold off here and head back.
No. You want to land right away, or are you feeling better?
I'm feeling okay. I don't want to go any more. It was just a great opportunity for us, and I thank the Air National Guard. They provided that. John Klatt, he's a class act and a super guy to work with.
Mike then introduced John to the world of unlimited hydroplanes.
It's an amazing feeling here. I'm feeling like a fish out of water, though. Flying F-16s in the Guard was a wonderful career. Everything that I have has been attributed to my training, the skills that I learned. They taught me how to be a pilot, then they taught me how to be a fighter pilot, and the skills transitioned right into aerobatic flying. Every day I wake up and pinch myself that I get to do this, and I take it real seriously. Thanks for bringing me out here. Fun to see what you guys do. Again, thanks to the Air Guard for putting this thing on.
Absolutely.
It was fun to see this course about 50 minutes ago from 1,000 feet or less. And now I get to see what you guys do, attached to the water.
Well, thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And here are some more people having a lot of fun. The autograph session held every Air National Guard unlimited hydroplane race, and the drivers have as much fun as the fans.
They do, Bill. Don't get me wrong. You get to meet just about everybody that comes to this race.
T-shirts, programs, anything you want, these guys will sign it. But they're here to go racing, and Heat 3A is coming up, including Scott Liddicoat sweating it out in the 88-degree men to see if he can make the final. The Air National Guard Series under the scorching sun in Tri-Cities, Washington at the Columbia Cup Regatta. And we are ready for Heat 3A. And there are a couple of drivers in this heat that really need some points. Coming up on the 1-minute mark on the Peterson May countdown clock. Looks like all boats are legal there. And they head down the backstretch, scoring up for 3A. And take a look at the lineup here. 2 guys that really need to score some points. John Zimmerman in the 9 and Scott Liddicoat in that 88-degree men. They've really got to run well here and then hope some other guys have some trouble to make the final.
Yeah, Bill, there's not a lot of heats to get the points you need to get into the final, so every heat counts. So when you get a DNF, which means you didn't even finish, you didn't get 1 point, this is almost like a final for these guys.
On board there with Nate Brown, there's Liddicoat in the degree men. Lost a prop shaft in his first heat, did not score any points as Mike talked about.
Oh boy, here we go, Bill. This is why you got to get up there with them at the start, whether you're early or not.
Boy, this is going to be tight to the line. 5 seconds on the Peterson May countdown clock.
Oh, that looked close, Bill.
Yeah, we're going to have to look like J.W. Myers might have jumped. We'll wait for the official call. Anyway, we're underway in 3A. J. Michael Kelly has the inside lane.
Here comes that head of steam on the outside. Look at Mark Evans. That thing is flying.
He really loves the long way around, but that's the way that boat was designed to race, just inside the out-of-bounds buoy. He's on board with John Zimmerman. And there's your race leader, J. Michael Kelly, 33-year-old driver in the Beacon Plumbing.
Once again, Bill, I hate to keep reiterating this, but this isn't the fastest boat on the race course. So what does the inside mean? Inside right now means you're getting the fastest way around this race course over everybody else that's faster than you.
It's a little less rough inside, but this river is really rough today.
Yeah, it's just, it's inevitable when you get down to this first turn. You better plant the wing because it's coming.
J. Michael Kelly coming around to complete the first of 3 laps. There's J.W. Myers, the Peterson May machine. Scott Liddicoat making the pass on the outside, and we have gotten the official word. J.W. Myers did jump the start, so he will have to run an extra lap, and that is a tough break for those guys after they worked so hard to get that boat here after the flip in Detroit. Liddycoat looking for points. JW now really in some tough water.
Yeah, look at this one, Bill. Not a whole lot of room here.
That's Zimmerman trying to make the move on the inside. That's really close.
Good driving by both of these guys to keep it off of each other.
And that's a big pass for Zimmerman. He really needs those points, although remember, JW is going to have to run an extra lap for jumping the gun. Up front, J. Michael Kelly, first lap 144.9 miles an hour. That's down a little bit, and you can attribute that to how rough this water is getting. Scott Liddycoat in the 88 runs in second. He'd love to have the 400 points, but he might have to take 300 and then hope he makes the final. On board with Liddycoat.
With the distance he has here, Bill, you just want to play it safe because you can't get in the final if you're upside down. So Scott's doing just what he needs to do to get enough points but not push this thing to its utmost limit.
Watch these talented drivers dance these boats down the front stretch on the Columbia River. And watch how rough this water is in turn one.
And oh, look at that, Bill. Holy cow. There was a 20-foot section right there where J. Michael Kelly didn't even touch the water.
The boat literally flew out of the water.
Flew out of the water and skipped out at least a lane.
Mark Evans in the 57, still running on the outside. There's JW on his left. Now on board with Nate Brown. All over the place.
Look at that, Bill. You know, it's all you can do to keep these things in the lane. When you're going through a corner at that speed and you've got these rollers to deal with, it's next to impossible.
Even with that huge skid fin, it's really hard to control that boat when the water is rocking you back and forth.
Skid fin works great when it's got water holding it, but once she comes loose, then you're out of lane at least.
J. Michael Kelly coming to take the checkered flag, and this time he kept the cowling with him. 400 points for J. Michael Kelly. And this is the battle for fourth. And this is a couple of veterans really going at it. Nate Brown on the right, Mark Evans on the left.
Here comes that shoot speed, Bill, on the outside.
It's going to be close. Oh, looks like Mark got him. Now take a look at the points. 400 for J. Michael Kelly. J.W. Myers was penalized for encroaching on John Zimmerman. And yes, Mark did beat Nate for the position. 3B coming up from Tri-Cities. The Air National Guard Series in Tri-Cities, Washington. Why is Scott Liddycoat smiling? Because he got a second place finish and looks like he's going to make the final in the Columbia Cup Regatta. Now out on the water, the boats are milling for Heat 3B, including the 100 of Greg Hopp. It's amazing this boat is even running because watch what happens when Greg leaves the dock. Here's why you don't stand behind an unlimited at ignition. Watch this. You could see the fluid coming out of the exhaust tube.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, Bill, but as you can see, she lit pretty quick, and he's about to go out in a Fred Leland barbecue special here.
You could see the crew on the dock trying to get him to stop, but not Greg. He's a racer. He's ready to go. And past that yellow buoy in the right-hand corner of your screen before the clock gets to the 1 minute mark. Looks like everybody's safe this time. Looks like Bill Watt's in trouble, though. Threw a rooster tail, and that's going to put out his fire.
Bill, that's called putting out the flame, and unfortunately, he's going to have to relight this thing, and with 48 seconds, he's going to be late.
Boy, he's going to have to make up a lot of ground, and remember, Dave battling back from not scoring any points in an earlier heat this afternoon. He's on board with Brian Perkins. Our GoPro cams on the rear wing. There's Steve David with the Oh Boy Alberto Miss Madison. Looking for another 400 points, and Jimmy Shane loves the inside lane in the Graham Trucking. Here comes Bill Watt, with 18, 17, 16 to go. He's going to be coming with a head of steam, but he's going to be way back.
A head of steam, Bill, and he's going to be in slop the whole way.
Makes a tough job even tougher. Jimmy Shane coming to the line. 5 seconds to go. He's going to have to slow down or he's going to be early. Steve David's got it timed right on the mark.
Downside to that, Bill, is when you back off of one of these turbine engines, you don't have the response to pick up the speed like you would in a car. And he's paying for it now.
Steve David takes the lead as they head for turn one from the Whispering Turbine Skycam. There's Brian Perkins right next to Greg Hopp. These two drivers have a history from earlier today when Perkins spun out while racing side by side with Hopp. Steve David leads. Jimmy Shane runs second in the inside lane. On board with Shane. Getting a good boat right there. There's Dave Vilwalk way back. And you have to remember, he's not really sure what he's got because last time out he blew a gearbox and the thing died on him.
That's true, Bill. This is like a test session here for them. They know they're going to be close, but they're not getting a true feel for the boat because they're not out front in clean water.
Side by side for the lead, Steve David with a slight edge on Jimmy Shane.
You notice, Bill, this is the third race in a row the Oberto team has been running that snorkel up top.
You normally run that in saltwater.
That's correct.
There are two stories as to why they're running it. One is because it gives the boat a little better balance. The other story is, it makes the other guys think about what we're really doing.
Back into this first turn, Bill. I hate to keep bringing it up, sound like a broken record, but look how rough it is. It's going to take its toll today. Look, here's another one.
Brian Perkins threw the rooster tail of Greg Hoff.
All he could do to hold on to it, there was nothing he could do.
And Perkins is slowing to a stop. Dave Vilwalk makes the pass, and that's a huge pass for position for Vilwalk, trying to get enough points to make the final after failing to finish in heat number 2. Back on board with Jimmy Shane.
Good shot here, Bill. Look at that wing all the way down in the rear. Jimmy's trying to pack as much air as he can underneath this hull to get it to float around those turns.
Every time you see Jimmy Shane, he's running with Vilwalk, or he's running with Steve David, and this is his first year in a full-time ride.
He likes running.
Does he know how good these guys are?
Bill, he might be quiet on shore, but he knows exactly who these drivers are.
And now these guys are finding out how good he is.
They are. Just quite the opposite. They're finding out real quick who Jimmy Shane is.
Back in that really rough turn 1. Well, there's trouble there for the 5. Looks like the rear uprights have separated. He's still got the rear wing on because that's where the camera is mounted, but he's definitely got an issue. You see how low that wing is on the transom of the boat?
Yeah, Bill, basically I think he popped both of the uprights and they're just sitting there flapping in the breeze right now.
And you have to wonder how long that camera is going to stay along for the ride. Jimmy is not lifting, still trying to chase down Steve David. There's the Graham trucking. Look at that upright vibrating. Now it's back up in the air. This wing's leaving. There it goes. You could see that coming.
Good shot here, Bill. As you can see, Jimmy still packing air.
He's not going to catch Steve David. Checkered flag in the air. A win and 400 more points for Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. Greg Hoff was penalized for encroachment. He finishes 4th. Brian Perkins did not finish. Now, take a look at the standings after the preliminary heats. The top 6 drivers are in the final. Greg Hoff starts as the trailer, and look how close Nate Brown was to making it. Now, earlier I asked Beacon Plumbing owner Billy Schumacher to assess his race team.
I'm very happy. I think Jay Michael's done a fabulous job of driving the boat. I'm real happy for Beacon Plumbing. They just came on board with us again this year. We're starting to get back to the winning side of things, and it's a good feeling.
Do you have good feelings for you for this course, this place?
I always have, yes. I did win it back in 1967, and I have raced here many times after that. I don't think I had quite as good a luck, but it's always a fine place to race. The water's decent, and the weather's always nice, and the people are great.
Well, the people are great, but the water is not so nice, and it's really hot, and crew chief Tom Anderson has a lot of work to do if Jimmy Shane's going to get his first unlimited win. For the winner-take-all Columbia Cup Regatta Final. 90 degrees is the air temperature. It feels like 97 degrees as we get ready to go racing. Boats heading out on the water, including the 5 of Jimmy Shane. Remember last time out, all that damage to the rear of the boat? I talked to his crew chief, Tom Anderson, during the repairs. Tom, I know you're in the middle of this thrash, but tell us about the damage and the repairs you've made.
Basically, he just hit a hole out there that was hard enough to just pop everything we've got back on the rear tail feathers and the wing. They just all blew right off the boat. But we carry spares for it, so the Graham trucking's going to be just as good as new for the final.
And the final begins long before the green flag. Watch the boats as they troll toward the 1-minute buoy. 3 stories to watch for. They'll walk with the gearbox incident earlier today. Jimmy Shane coming off the repairs after his 3rd heat, and Steve David jumped the 1-minute buoy here last year. Heavy penalty cost him the win. On board with Dave Vilwalk.
Bill, with this move right here that I can see coming up, this is going to be a wicked final. Look at this. Ow! You've got to have 30 feet in between these 2 boats, or you can just make your own lane.
And it looks like Bill Walk put out his own fire there going through that rooster tail.
I'm afraid he did. That was just too much water for that engine to consume.
You cannot pass the yellow score buoy before the 1 minute mark. We're just about there. Looks like Steve David's early.
Look at this, Bill. I've never seen anything like that. Jimmy Shane had to go outside to make sure he was legal. And I don't know if Steve David had the 5-boat overlap to come over.
Gonna have to wait for the official call from the referee in the helicopter high above the Columbia River, but it looked like Steve might have been early. Now down the backstretch as they get in their lanes. There's a look at Jimmy Shane on board the Graham Trucking, looking for his first career unlimited hydroplane. That's 2011 Rookie of the Year, Scott Liddicoat in the Degree Men. 30 seconds on the Peters and May countdown clock. We can see Bill Walk has caught the field. He's got his lane. That's on board with John Zimmerman. He's trying to catch the field. He's way back. That's on board J. Michael Kelly. Has the inside lane in the Beacon Plumbing. Going to bring the field around. 13 seconds to go. It's 6 boats for 5 laps on a 2.5-mile course. Remember how rough turn 1 is. Bill Walk and David have combined to win the last 8 races on this course. Toward the green flag. All boats are good. The start is legal. They charge toward turn 1. Hang on tight.
Look at this shot, Bill. When they get down to the end of this straightaway, they're going to be pushing 200 miles per hour. This is what you call hauling the mail.
J. Michael Kelly, 1 career win in Doha in 2009, has the inside lane. Steve David waiting to find out if he was early. Look at that.
That's exactly where you want to be, Bill. You want to keep that spray just on the left-hand side of that windshield, staying out the rooster tail to your right.
On board with race leader J. Michael Kelly. That's Jimmy Shane. He runs second. He's in lane 3. Kelly getting some air.
Yeah, a lot of air back there, Bill. He knows he's in contention to win this thing. He's not going to back out.
Still waiting for word on whether or not the 6 was early, and you know these 2 guys are probably hoping it.
That's exactly right, Bill. They're sitting there hoping that somebody on the radio is going to tell them that the 6 has gone before the 1-minute pin.
And we have received official word Steve David was early at the 1-minute buoy. He will have to run an extra lap. So this is now the battle for third. Dave Bill Walk looking at Scott Liddicoat. Bill Walk in the Spirit of Qatar, Liddicoat in the Degree Man. Right next to each other, on board with Bill Walk. Whoa!
You don't think he's trying to win this race, Bill? He just stood it up on its end about halfway down the track.
There was no water at all. It was just front end of the boat in the air.
No, when you can see that much sky for that prolonged period, you know you're in trouble.
On board with your leader, J. Michael Kelly. You see Steve David racing out front, but he's been penalized a lap. Here's your battle for third. Bill Walk taking the position from Liddicoat, who catches some air. Racing all over the Columbia River. On board now with Bill Walk in the Spirit of Qatar. He's got a long way to go to catch the leaders, but if anybody can do it, he can. Jimmy Shane in the Graham Trucking trying to catch the leader, J. Michael Kelly.
And Bill, by now, his team has already told him, look, this is the lead, this is the battle. Worry about the boat that's next to you, the one that's out front, let him go.
That's the Graham Trucking of Jimmy Shane. To his left, J. Michael Kelly. That's for first. Steve David runs ahead of these 2, but has been penalized. He'll have to run an extra lap. He's not a factor in this race right now.
Now, what's difficult here, Bill, is you got to decide what you want to do. Do you want to get inside of Steve David and get clean of water?
There goes the cowling for the second time off the 37. Now, once again, Mike, that shouldn't affect the handling of the boat.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't affect the speed or anything. It should be just fine. It's pretty much cosmetics.
He won a preliminary heat after the cowling left during that heat.
And getting back to my point, Bill, Steve David could have a tremendous effect on the outcome of this race. Jimmy Shane on the outside has to determine, does he want to go inside of Steve David or stay where he is? On the other hand, J. Michael Kelly on the inside knows that all he has to do is hug the buoys and keep it the shortest distance around the race course.
They both got rough water, but Jimmy Shane's going to have rougher water.
He is going to have rougher water, but you can see what he's already doing now, Bill. He's hugging it as close as he can, but yet keeping his propeller in clean water.
And for Steve David, his point is, well, I may have been early, but I'm going to show you what I got in this boat.
Yeah, he's just flat out showing him that he could have won this thing. It's a shame he had to go out that way.
For the lead. Jimmy Shane has the advantage, but J. Michael Kelly has the inside lane through that rugged turn 1.
Jimmy Shane almost putting it up on its side there as well. Just about everybody's had problems with this corner.
And here comes Bill Walk in the Spirit of Qatar. Can he catch the 2 leaders? Going through the field, there's Scott Liddicoat in the Degree Man. He's fallen off the pace. John Zimmerman finished 4th in Detroit, was hoping for better things here, but he's had a rough afternoon in the final. There's Steve David, who is early at the 1 minute buoy, will have to run an extra lap. He's in front of the field, but he is not the leader. On board with the leader, J. Michael Kelly in the inside lane. Here comes Jimmy Shane again.
Look at these two closing the gap on each other, Bill. Steve David is out of the way enough now that Jimmy can start to come over. And look at these guys just flying these things.
And this is why you have to come see an unlimited race, 200 miles an hour. It will take your breath away.
Here we go, Bill. What do you think they have left to deal with? One of the worst turns that we have in all of racing. Down in this first turn, they know they still got to get through here. There's no painted lanes on these waterways, Bill. These guys are just doing everything they can to get through there as fast as they can and as safe as they can.
And you're hoping your boat doesn't skip out one lane.
No doubt, Bill. We've seen it all day long here.
Half a lap from the finish. On board with J. Michael Kelly, looking at race leader Jimmy Shane. That boat in front of him, Steve David, has to run an extra lap. Not a factor in the race for the win, but he could determine the water conditions as they come through the final turn.
So J. Michael has to hug these buoys as tight as he can. Jimmy Shane has to hug that rooster tail of Steve David as tight as he can. But this right here, Bill, this is exactly why you strap in as a driver. It doesn't get any more exciting than this.
Out of the final turn for the final time, J. Michael Kelly right there, one career win. On his outside, Jimmy Shane looking for his first career win. Coming to the finish line, checkered flag in the air. Oh, looks like Jimmy Shane just got him. Shane is the winner. I don't think he knows. We'll go back and tell him.
The 2012 Air National Guard Hydroplane Series has been brought to you by Air National Guard. Visit goang.com to learn more about exciting opportunities in your area. By Whispering Turbines, where life begins at 200 miles per hour. And by Peters and May. For professional management of your worldwide boat transport and logistics, remember Peters and May.
Well, fans...
Heat 1A, this time sponsored by American Dumpster. Jeff, you cannot win the Southern Cup in the first heat of the weekend, but you can certainly lose it. Be careful, finish, and score points.
This is the building block. This is the heat. You want to score. You want to score well. You don't want to come out of this heat with the goose egg, which is the zero. This is your building block to get points in the first section, second section, third section to be on the front row. of the Southern Cup Championship tomorrow at 5:30 Central Daylight Time here in Guntersville.
3:25 until the start. 3:25. Dustin Eccles cutting across the race course from the back stretch to the front stretch on the GP course. That is a legal maneuver. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about our start procedure here. It's been basically the same as it's been for our previous two classes. It's a clock start. Put your boat on the start-finish line when the clock strikes 0. Do not jump that start. You will be penalized and you will not win. But there's an added factor to this whole thing. You cannot drop your boat below 80 miles per hour. So when we get a winner in this heat, the boats have to go through tech inspection, and that's where they pick up that 80 mile an hour violation should it happen. So you can't just go up to the top end of the race course and park your boat at 10 miles an hour. You must stay above 80 miles per hour. The drivers have indication in the cockpit. They also have the radio guys in their ears explaining this to them. 2 minutes and 28 seconds to the start. This is what we call the milling period. Got a couple boats at the top end of the race course, one on the backstretch, and Dylan Runny at the bottom end.
Runny at the bottom end, as Brad mentioned, the Turbinator with Jimmy King just past the halfway mark on the back chute. Two boats in turn number 2, the Tennessee Orange Bucket List Racing of Dustin Eccles, and the dominant red Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. We are coming up on 2 minutes. 2 minutes until American Dumpster H1 Unlimited Heat 1A. Brad Luce, the season is about to begin for H1. I like the lineup. Let's get this party started.
Let's get it started. Remember, Dylan Runny, the third boat coming down the front straightaway here, he has to start behind the field and on the outside. You see him moving to the outside. Jeff, these guys are awfully early to get down to the bottom end of the race course here at $1:30, which we are at now. So it's 1:30. This is where the 80 miles per hour comes into play. If you're down there too early and have to slow down, you run the risk of breaking that 80 mile per hour barrier, and that can cost you dearly. But they'll come up the backstretch. It is Dustin Eccles leading the field up there. Got 3 boats behind him. Jeff, bring them up to the top end of the course.
Coming up on the 1 minute period for American Dumpster Unlimited 1A. 3, 2, 1, mark. 1 minute period in session. H1 Unlimited Heat 1A. Our heat sponsor, American Dumpster, leading the field up. Looks like you'll get lane number 1, Dustin Eccles and Bucket List Racing. J. Michael Kelly coming into the 2 lane in the Beacon Electric. Jimmy King in the Turbinator. Griggs Ace Hardware in 3. Dylan Runny to the outside in 4. In Miss Home Street, we are approaching 30 seconds. Brad Luce, let's start this Southern Cup. Bring him to the green flag.
Thank you very much, Jeff. It looks like J. Michael Kelly's going to claim lane number 1. I think Dustin Eccles is going to go in 2. I think the Turbinator's going to go in 3. And then on the far outside and behind, as he is supposed to, is going to be Dylan Runny. But as we saw, the boats were down there too early. And Dustin Eccles is crawling up to the start-finish line here in the 40. We're inside 10 seconds until our start. We are on 5 seconds. We are 4, 3, 2, 1, mark, and we are racing in Heat 1A, presented by American Dumpster. I think we've got the 40 Bucket List Racing definitely across the start-finish line early, but until we get it legal, we will call them as they are on the water. Eccles is going to get out of the corner first. Check that. It is J. Michael Kelly on the inside. He's got a lot of boats with him. He's got the Turbinator. You can hear him on the outside. There is Eccles. He pulls up alongside J. Michael Kelly, and now moves out by about a boat length, maybe a boat length and a half. He may have jumped, but man, he's moving.
Start is under review. Eccles in front. He could be the culprit. Eccles in front. Kelly is there. The Turbinator in third into turn number 2. Exciting dueling to begin today, but is Eccles legal?
We'll call them as they are on the water until we hear it officially. Kelly with the inside lane position. Look at him right on the buoy row. Now it's Eccles on the outside. Whether he jumped or not, 2 of the fastest race boats in the world are tied together as they come across start-finish line. Jeff, I think you've got an update.
We got a 1-lap penalty on your physical leader, Dustin Eccles, in the Bucket List Racing. The Tennessee Orange down a lap for a gun jump. So your leader is the dominant red boat in turn number 1, J. Michael Kelly, in the Beacon Electric. That moves the Turbinator, the turbocharged Allison, up to second. Griggs Ace Hardware. Miss Home Street in third. Eccles physically in front, but in fourth.
Yeah, he's in fourth place, so your leader is J. Michael Kelly, the red boat up the backstretch. That is the Beacon Electric. And if we have that information, so does J. Michael Kelly. That's why you see him letting the orange boat go. Let him go. That's not who he's racing against. However, in his right side rear view mirror, as Jeff calls him, the Terminator, the U3, the Griggs Ace Hardware, he is trying to make a move coming up on the outside of J. Michael Kelly. Dustin Eccles will come down. He will be our leader on the water, but he is actually running it forward. But Jimmy King is making a move, Jeff.
Brad, with Eccles getting that one-lap penalty, he has come toward the inside, and Kelly's had to go outside his wake. Your official leader. Here comes the turbocharged Allison, charging on the outside. This one is not over. American Dumpster, Unlimited 1A. It's the two dominant red boats. Kelly, your leader. Brad, the Terminator, is right there.
Yeah, he's right there. The race is for second place, except that is a race for first place. The two red boats. Kelly on the inside, King on the outside. You can't see King driving a 3 of the Griggs Ace Hardware, but he's right with them. This one is going to be close. It's going to be a charge to the finish line. Kelly with the lane position, but it is Jimmy King on the outside with an awful lot of boat speed. He's going to pack as much as he can into this corner. Now you see Dustin Eccles go way wide and give our leaders room to come down and race this out. There is Kelly. There is King. I think J. Michael Kelly will be able to hold him off. Dustin Eccles comes across, but on his inside, our winner of Heat 1A on the water, J. Michael Kelly, driving the Beacon Electric. Second place to Jimmy King in the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware. Holy smoke. Our third place boat will be the rookie, Dylan Runny, driving in Miss Home Street. And I can only think, Jeff Baylor, Dustin Eccles is just kicking himself in that cockpit. We said, don't make a mistake, get your points in that first heat. He made a mistake.
We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it this morning. The first heat of the weekend, that's your building block, your top qualifier, the first error of racing activity this weekend. Dustin Eccles running that extra lap, and he does have to finish to get those 169 points. Great run by J. Michael Kelly, but Brad the Terminator, Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware, the World War II Allison aircraft engine, looked great with that turbocharger running in second.
That's fun. Gas him up. Let's do it again. That was an awful lot of fun. Here comes Dustin Eccles. He's disappointed, but he comes across still very important. He comes across, he finishes, he will pick up his 169 points. They all build, as you said, with the building blocks toward making it into the final. The two boats who make out like a bandit because of Dustin Eccles' air, the U3, the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware with Jimmy King, they pick up second place points. That's 300. And how about Dylan Runny? Has to start behind the field, so he's handicapped to begin with, but because of the matters out front, he picks up a third place and 225 points. We are inside 5 minutes now. We've got three boats set to answer the call here, and we've got 1, 2, 3 rooster tails headed our way. The fans might be thinking, Jeff, wait a minute, there's 8 boats in the pit area. We ran 4 in the first one. Where's our 4th boat in this one? Brent Hall in the 440 has not yet qualified as a driver, so he is not eligible yet to come out and run with these guys. But we've got 3 on the water. It's going to be the U11, the Legend Yacht Transport. Legend Yacht Transport driven by Jamie Nielsen. He will come across the start-finish line, boat running very, very good this weekend. He's going to be joined on the race course by the U9, Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody. Here comes Corey. That white boat, Corey Peabody, he's going to be quick in this one, but don't ever count out Andrew Tate. Jeff, before you make a comment, want to just remind our fans, please stay out of the water when our H1 hydroplanes and all hydroplanes are on the water and racing. So we need you out of the water right now. Parents, help us out just a little bit. Some cool water. Jeff, 3 minutes and 50 seconds to the start. We got a 3-boat heat, but it should be a good one.
I'm sure these drivers watched the warm-up period back in American Dumpster Unlimited Heat 1A. Dustin Eccles, our top qualifier, was a gun jumper, received a 1-lap penalty, 4th place finish. Brad, these 3 drivers right now with the 3-boat heat, you definitely don't want to jump the gun. but you want to maintain your boat, run a clean race, score where you can, but the main thing is to stay clean, don't get in trouble.
Yeah, and here's some of that start procedure right now. You're watching Jamie Nielsen come down the front straightaway very, very slowly here, and we saw some of the drivers have an issue with the 80-mile-an-hour rule and being a little bit too early on their start procedure in our Heat 1A earlier today, and it cost, unfortunately, our U40 bucket list racing and Dustin Eccles. It cost him a potential first-place finish in his heat, but right now it is Heat 1B presented by American Dumpster. We're 2 minutes and 50 seconds away from the start. Jamie Nielsen right now is sitting on an inside lane. Where is Andrew? Oh, Andrew's halfway up the backstretch. He's been going very slowly ever since he came out. All a part of his start procedure, Jeff.
I think Andrew Tate right now, probably Brad, could be a little bit off. We'll see if he cuts through that infield there. That is a legal maneuver at that part of the race course. But no, he will go on up to turn number 2. Now, Nielsen and Peabody are both keen on one another as we now are 2 minutes and 15 seconds until the start. Brad, the past 2 seasons, Jamie Nielsen in the Royal Blue Chartreuse boat has a knack at getting lane number 1. Can he do it here in American Dumpster 1B?
Well, right now where Andrew Tate sets, you know I have this unofficial timing mark that, yeah, you don't really want to be at the start-finish line in 2 minutes. Well, it's a minute 55 right now, and Andrew is right here at the line. He's actually not there yet, and he's going to get there about a minute 48. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. You mentioned Jamie Nielsen and Corey Peabody were playing kind of a game up the backstretch. Well, Corey said he'd had enough of that game. He gave it a little squirt. He moved away from Jamie Nielsen. 130 until the start, Jeff Ayler.
With that maneuver now, Nielsen is toward the back of the pack, and all 3 H1 Unlimited hydroplanes will have to go through turn number 1, get their lane assigned on the back straightaway. In the race before the race, we now are 1 minute and 15 seconds until the start. Tate is the first one off the corner. Will he have the best shot at lane number 1? Peabody's tracking him. Brad still lots to decide. We're coming up on 1 minute. 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 minute period has begun for American Dumpster Unlimited 1B.
And right now it is Andrew Tate in the 91, the Goodman Real Estate. He is sitting on lane number 1. It is Corey Peabody in the Beacon Plumbing, the white U9. That's the second boat going up the backstretch. He is in lane number 2. Jamie Nielsen will be on the outside in the Legend Yacht Transport. Inside 40 seconds to the start. Jeff Ayler, set the lanes. Get him through that upper corner for me, please.
Coming up on the 30-second mark, Andrew Tate will be in lane number 1. Goodman Real Estate, gold and white craft. White boat with the blue lettering. Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody. And back of the pack is Nielsen. Now is Nielsen sneaking into 1? Brad, bring him to the line for American Dumpster 1B.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on Nielsen. No, he's got to go to the outside, but he may be the one boat with a lot of boat speed. The others are up there a little bit early. Nielsen was behind the field, but he's got a lot of boat speed on the outside. Inside 5 seconds, we're 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, and boy, I like that start. It looked good from here, but Jamie Nielsen nailed it in the U11 Legend Yacht Transport, but all 3 of them were tied together as they go down to the lower corner. On the inside, it's Andrew Tate with the lead, the U91 Goodman Real Estate, but it looks like one boat down there, but it is 3, and there's Corey. Corey on the outside by a boat length. Tate and Corey Peabody, Jeff, they are really duking it out.
The start was good. Now Peabody extends his lead by a boat length and a half, but Tate has the advantage to the inside. Shorter way around. Peabody gets there first. Here comes Tate, and they are now side by side at the apex of turn 2.
Coming off the top end of the race course. Remember, fans, we go 3 times around. Watch the corner for Andrew Tate, right on the buoy roll of beauty. But Corey gave him enough room and was able to keep the speed up. This boat's been fast yesterday and today. That boat being the U9, Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody, your defending Lake Guntersville champion, running like a rocket. Got a lot of speed off to his left and a lot of good driving skill in there too with Andrew Tate. Andrew's not going to give up on this yet. Look at that. Lane position pulled him up to about 3 boat lengths. This is a good one. We are just about halfway through this heat. Corey Peabody's opened up about a 4 boat lengths lead, but I'll tell you what, in that left side rear view mirror, Jeff Ayler, Andrew Tate does not want to go away.
Right now, Peabody extending the lead in American Dumpster Unlimited 1B here at the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. Make it a 10 boat length advantage. Peabody in front. leaving Tata Lane in there in lane number 1. Nielsen remains in third and Legend Yacht Transport, but Brad Tate's got it down now to 8 boat lengths. Corey tightened it up on the pins on the outside.
Yes, Corey really did tighten it up there. He's going to make it as difficult as he can legally on Andrew Tate. And now they come down to pick up the white flag with 1 to go here in our Heat 1B presented by American Dumpster. It is Corey Peabody and Andrew Tate slamming into the lower end of the race course. Tate gobbles it back up again, back by about 6, maybe 7 boat lengths. This is the checkered flag lap. Off the exit pit of the corner, Corey Peabody running a beautiful race in that Beacon Plumbing. He's opened up almost a full rooster tail, but Tate's still knocking on the door, Jeff.
The key for Peabody right now. Comfortable lead. Don't make a mistake in turn number 2. Run his craft clean away from the pins. We go above in turn number 2 with our drone. Peabody driving clean. Tate running out of time. Brad, bring him to the checkered flag and American Dumpster 1B.
It is on the outside. Corey Peabody driving the U9 to Beacon Plumbing for Darrell and Vanessa Strong. Checkered flag flies. Corey Peabody picking up a heat victory. In our Heat 1B presented by American Dumpster, it is Andrew Tate coming home in second place driving the Goodman Real Estate and a very strong and good run for the U11 Legend Yacht Transport. Jeff Ayler, the last time we saw Corey Peabody in that U9, it was in the final heat in Madison, Indiana. That's the first heat they've run since. He's out front with 400 points. Assuming they get through tech inspection.
The whole team will be absolutely tickled with that heat win here at the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest and American Dumpster Unlimited 1B. The 5-minute period is come and gone. Let's get this started.
Let's get this party started. It is day 3 of 3. The green flag is on the race course. Our 4 boats are at the top end. J. Michael Kelly comes into our Heat 2A presented by the Guntersville Waterboard with 450 points. The boat is extremely quick. What we've noticed about J. Michael Kelly's bright red boat is how smooth it is on the water. He's followed by teammate Corey Peabody in the Beacon Plumbing. Beacon Electric is the red one, Beacon Plumbing is the white one, and here's your top qualifier. Bucket List Racing with Dustin Eccles had that 171 mile per hour lap. All 3 of those guys went around the race course smartly, and as he loves to do, he likes to do things a little differently. Andrew Tate just tooling around the top end of the race course. Tate's got a place he wants to be on this race course at a certain time, and he'll find a way to get there.
Boy, right now, Brad, at that 4-minute mark, I think he'll have to come down to turn number 1 and obviously go down the back straightaway. Will he elect to cut in where J. Michael Kelly is, or will he go back to turn 2?
Well, we'll see. He's got to go all the way down now. And Kelly and Peabody both cut the race course. That's a legal maneuver. Now, to our new race fans here, Jeff Ayler, if you haven't seen this before, everything is done on a clock start. We are at the start-finish line. We're 3 minutes and 30 seconds until the start. The idea is to put your boat on the starting line at full song, the tick before the clock strikes 0. If you jump the start and are across the line before the clock strikes 0, you run an extra lap. You're not going to win. We go 3 laps in these preliminary heats. We got a 5-lap final coming up later on in the day. But right now, with 3:10, they're in what we call the milling period, Jeff.
Brad, I spoke to an H1 Unlimited pilot this morning. I won't name who it was because I don't want to give away their secrets, but I'll give it away anyway. 22-second mark, the entrance pin of turn number 2 on the back chute. They're looking at about that 10-second mark off the exit pin of turn number 2 of the start-finish line. If you jump the gun in H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing, that is a 1-lap penalty. That takes you away from the checkered flag and those precious points up toward the top.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting now because as the boats come out of the pit area, their lane is not assigned to them. They fight for lanes, and at 2:30 before the start, they're going to have to go all the way up to the top end, which means they're going to go all the way around the race course. Andrew Tate has parked himself right now in lane 1. Could that change? Yes, it could. Honestly, Jeff, I'm not sure it's going to. I think they've got to go all the way around, and Tate's just going to hang in lane 1 if he wants it. Right now, Kelly's in 2, Peabody's in 3. That's going to put our top qualifier on the far outside. And remember, Dustin Eccles needs some points. He jumped his start in the first heat, and although he was the first boat across the finish line, he was relegated to 4th place with the 1-lap penalty. So here comes Tate down across start-finish line inside of 2 minutes. Tate's in 1, Kelly's in 2, Peabody in 3. Eccles is going to come down behind everybody.
Right now, Brad, by the alignment, I like where Eccles is, but the problem where he is, he's on the outside.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Andrew. You know my unofficial timing marks. I always say, you don't want to be down there at that entrance pin in the lower corner at 1:30. It's 1:30 right now.
Yeah, I think Andrew Tate, no doubt early. It looks like he will cruise around the course. You have to be above 80 miles per hour in the warm-up period prior to the start. So Andrew Tate in turn number 1, leisurely working the buoy row in the Goodman Real Estate. He is followed by J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Plumbing. Then Corey Peabody back behind Kelly in the Beacon Plumbing. Now here comes Dustin Eccles up on the outside in the Tennessee Orange Bucket List Racing. We are now coming up on 55 seconds until the start. Brad, by my view, I think Tate's early. Eccles could be the best of all, but he is on the outside.
He is on the outside. He's just on the outside of Corey Peabody. 45 seconds until the start. The white flag is up. We're going to go 3 times around. There's 400 points laying on the table. You need to earn points, as we like to say in these preliminary heats, to find your way into the final. Tate's going to take him up to the top end of the race course with 30 seconds until the start. Followed in lane number 2 by J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. Then it is his teammate Corey Peabody. He's in lane 3. Eccles is going to be on the outside. You see Dustin starting to wind it up on the outside. You said 12 seconds off the exit pin. Let's take a look. We are 12 seconds right now. It's going to be getting pretty close to time to put the foot down. You see Tate can't get into it yet. The others can, but now Andrew does. We are 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark. Boy, from my view, it looks like it's a legal start, but we'll get it from the officials. Andrew Tate on the inside was the first boat across the line. He broke the clock and will get down to turn number 1 first, and he's got the lead as he goes through the lower corner. Andrew Tate, but boy, has he got company. He's got Kelly, he's got Peabody, and he's got Eccles, but off the corner it is Andrew Tate. And then look on the outside. It's a legal start. It's a legal start, Jeff. Look at Corey Peabody on the outside in 2.
Tate made a dynamite start in lane number 1, leads it in turn number 2. Corey Peabody is hauling the mail in second in Beacon Plumbing. Back in third, we got side-by-side action between Kelly and Eccles, but off the corner it'll be Tate in front, but Peabody charging hard in second.
Tight off the buoy row is Andrew Tate. He'll come down and put one in the books, but his right side rearview mirror is full of Corey Peabody. Peabody's closed the distance. He's back by about 3 boat lengths as they finish lap number 1 and go down to the lower end of the race course. It's lap number 2 of 3. Tate on the inside with the lead, but he's got Corey right with him. Peabody back about 3 boat lengths. They're going to come off the corner very close, Jeff. Peabody's making a charge.
Excellent dueling here in Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited. Heat 2A, we see Tate, Peabody hidden in the rooster tail on the back straightaway. Your races for first in 2A. Tate maintains that lead. They enter turn number 2. Peabody is there. Tate is there. Now they are side by side in turn number 2 at the apex.
You know I love to say this, Jeff, but this is as good as it gets in H1 Unlimited Racing. You've hooked up 2 boats side by side. There's Tate. There's Peabody. They're going to come down and pick up a white flag with 1 to go, and they're virtually going to be dead even. Corey Peabody and Andrew Tate. Tate by a boat length at the end of 2. Third place is going to go to Dustin Eccles. In the Bucket List Racing, J. Michael Kelly trails in 4th. Down to the lower end of the race course. This is the final lap. You've got to get the checkered flag this time for those 400 points. Looks like 1 boat coming off the corner. There are 2 of them right there. Looking for Corey, and there he is. Sticks his nose out about a boat length, Jeff.
Beautiful dueling here in Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited 2A. Peabody in front by a boat length. Tate flies the Goodman Real Estate. The battle is up in the front. Tate has the advantage on the inside, shorter way around. They are side by side again at the apex. Final turn, final lap of 2A.
Here 400 points laying right here at the finish line. Has Peabody got enough? Has Tate got acceleration? They're going to come down and pick up the checkers, and it's going to be Corey Peabody in the Beacon Plumbing. He will come home first. Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate, will come home in 2nd place. Bucket List Racing with Dustin Eccles in 3rd, and J. Michael Kelly will come home in 4th place. Now that's a good way to start the day, Mr. Ayler.
Brad Luce, great dueling here in Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited Heat 2A. While you were calling the boat boats in turn number 1. The drone shot up above entering turn number 1 on lap number 1. There was enough lanes there, but J. Michael Kelly was back at the start, and when he went into turn number 1 and lane number 2, he was getting in a little bit of the wash of the Goodman Real Estate to his inside, but Andrew had enough boat lengths. That's some of the reasons, I think, why J. Michael Kelly fell back to the 4th position.
5 minutes to the start of our Heat 2B, presented by the Guntersville Waterboard. First boat away from the pit area is the U11, the Legend Yacht Transport. Chartreuse and royal blue, trimmed with red. This one's really pretty. I like this one, Jeff Ayler, and the colorblind guy doesn't have any problem seeing this one. Jamie Nielsen behind the wheel of this one, as you mentioned earlier, has yet to win an unlimited race. His owner, Scott and Shannon Rainey, have not either as owners. Scott Rainey has won many a boat race as a crew chief. He knows his way around an unlimited hydroplane. This is a different boat than they ran a year ago, but the boat's really responded. It's running very, very well. They could be a real player in this heat. They're going to be joined by the powder blue and white, the U1, the Miss Home Street. It is at the top end of the race course, and I hear something, Jeff. I hear a rumble up the backstretch. It's bright red. It is turbo Allison powered. It is the Griggs Ace Hardware Jimmy King. Dylan Runny, the rookie, comes off the top end in the Miss Home Street. Jimmy King behind him in the piston powered boat. We could have all kinds of conversations on this one.
I think it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, Nielsen and King will be battling for lane number 1. Ronnie will be to the outside and back. How far will he be back? How good a start will King or Nielsen make in lanes 1 or 2? Their objective, get to the line, don't jump the gun. You're either going to get 400 or 300. If they get 225, they'll take it. But right now, Nielsen and King in a good spot to get either 400 or 300 points here in Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited 2B. But could Ronnie come from the back and spoil on the outside? He does have the equipment to do it.
He definitely has the equipment to do it. One of the big questions is going to be, does he have enough time? He's only got 3 laps to do it. That's a pretty short period of time. It's a sprint. Come final heat time, there'll be 5 laps, but we're 3 in the prelims and across the start-finish line at 2:45. Dylan Ruddy, driving our defending national high points champion that won the Miss Home Street, owned by Miss Madison Incorporated and Madison, Indiana. 2:35 to the start, Jeff.
And Brad, different sequences here for all 3 drivers. King off turn number 2, Nielsen past the halfway mark up the back chute, Ronnie in turn number 1, so lots of separation here in the warm-up period. We're 2 minutes and 20 seconds until the start, and Brad, in about 1 minute, we expect these 3 to bunch up. Who will get lane 1? Who will get lane 2? We know Ronnie will be back on the outside. The factor in this one in the equation is King or Nielsen. Who will be in lane 1?
Boy, under different circumstances, if Ronnie was not a rookie, we might see him cut the race course right here, but he's not going to, I don't think. He may just from it. Now he's going to go all the way up. But Nielsen, I think you've got to like where Jamie Nielsen is sitting right now at 145. He is coming down the front straightaway. Again, the other piece to that start procedure that gets picked up in tech inspection is the 80 mile per hour rule. They have to maintain a minimum speed of 80 miles per hour. So at 130, I like a lot where Jamie Nielsen sits right now. I think he can park that thing in lane 1. Here comes King. He's going to come rolling down, and he's probably going to slot himself into lane number 2. And as you said, the rookie, Ronnie, got to be on the outside. 115, Jeff.
Nielsen in turn number 1. King is powering up into the entrance pin of turn number 1. We mentioned Ronnie will be back into the outside. We are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mark. 1 minute period has begun for Guntersville Waterboard H1 Unlimited 2B. Nielsen up there in front on the back chute in the warm-up period, followed by King and Dylan Runny. Brad loose, 45 seconds until the start. I think it'll be Nielsen in 1, King in 2, Runny and back on the outside. Bring him to the green flag.
That's what it's going to be, and it looks like Jamie Nielsen is way out front. He is. Is he early? Maybe a little bit, but I don't think so. I think he's in pretty good shape, but watch the red boat and watch the blue boat behind. I think they're both going to bring a lot of speed, but remember, the blue one's got to start behind it. Here comes King. You can hear the piston power start to roll.
The driver I mentioned this morning, unnamed, it was King. He was there at 22. He might be right on it.
This could be good. Jeff said he's got some inside scoop on Jimmy King and the piston boat. He's going to bring a lot of speed on the outside. We're inside 10, we're inside 5, we're 3, 2, 1, mark. It certainly appears to be a clean start. It is legal. And the boats were actually late behind the line, but there was a lot of speed in the piston boat, Jimmy King, but he's a couple of ticks behind Jamie Nielsen. Nielsen's got to get down to the lower corner first. Look on the outside. There's a lot of red out there and a lot of rumbling going on with the piston boat. This is going to be good, Jeff, but off the corner, it is Jamie Nielsen. Legend Yacht Transport by about 4 boat lengths.
Nielsen, your leader, has the advantage with lane number 1, but I think the horsepower advantage belongs to the Turbinator. Nielsen's lead is down to 5 boat lengths. They enter turn number 2, and King has got it down to 2 boat lengths. Nielsen, your leader. King has cut it down to 3 boat lengths at the apex of turn 2.
Top end of the race course. We'll wait to see Jimmy King. Where is he? There he is. He pokes his nose out. He's staying right on the hip of Nielsen, and he kept the RPM up. Got to come down and put one in the book. Side by side racing here. One in the books, and it's Nielsen by half a boat length. Literally half a boat length at the completion of lap number 1. Runny comes across in third. Was King able to gobble him up? He was, but now he's going to give it back because of the lane position. Looks like 1 boat down there. There are 2. Jamie Nielsen approaches the exit pit, and there's King on the outside. I think you said it right, Jeff. King's got that horsepower, and he's got it wound up.
Super sweet action at Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited 2B. King showing the horsepower of the turbocharged Allison, but he is on the outside of Nielsen. Nielsen maintains that advantage. Closer to the buoys, the Turbinator in front, making 3 boat lengths. Nielsen cantering back as they work through turn number 2. Nielsen tighten it up. King's lead down to a boat length.
Coming off the top end of the race course, they're going to come down and pick up the white flag. It means 1 more to go. Jimmy King driving the Griggs Ace Hardware and driving the daylights out of the piston boat. The fans are eating it up, Jeff. Down to the lower end of the race course. King's got about 4 boat lengths, and Dylan Runny comes across in third. Now it's a checkered flag lap. Who we got down there? King by about 2 boat lengths, maybe 3, opening it up just a little bit. He's got that horsepower wound up. He's got to have the acceleration off the corner, and so far he's been able to show Jamie Nielsen the tail end of that red boat. He's got it wound up, Jeff.
And now King extends the lead, make it 7 boat lengths. Final lap at Guntersville Waterboard Unlimited 2B. The Turbinator looking for 400 big points in this heat, and now Nielsen dropping back. King's lead getting bigger. Final turn, final lap. Can the Turbinator hang on?
Drives him definitely clean off the top end, giving Nielsen plenty of room. Jimmy King, Griggs Ace Hardware, Charlie Grigg, you're going to pick up 400 big points there. Piston Power claims Heat 2B, presented by the Guntersville Waterboard. The fans like that one. Here comes the home street, and Dylan Runny, he will come home in third. Jeff Ayler, we wondered who would get lane 1. Jamie Nielsen did an outstanding job of picking up that inside lane, but at the end of the day, he just couldn't hold off that Turbinator. Once he got that thing wound up and the RPMs up high, he could stay wide. It's this big, wide race course. He could keep it up. He didn't have to worry about acceleration because he was bringing a lot of speed to the exit buoy.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun, and it was set up. Dylan Runny, the rookie, obviously starting in the back, but we mentioned before the heat and throughout the heat, Nielsen had the lane he wanted, but boy, that turbocharged Allison horsepower come into play, and plus 2, Brad, with the rough water, the heavier boat could have been a factor.
First boat coming across is powder blue and white. Miss Home Street, Jeff. Dylan Runny's going to get a chance to go in and mix it up.
You're exactly right, Brad, and you're reading my mind. I'm kind of wondering what the thoughts are right now inside the helmet of Dylan Runny. This will be his first ever H1 Unlimited Heat where he can fight for lanes. His spotter here on the shoreline is Donnie Allen, very capable 350 shoe. Donnie, he's watching the clock and spotting for Dylan. Right now they're 5th in points, and if you're the Miss Home Street camp, You're the defending national championship boat. I think you might want to be a little aggressive here. You want to score high, you want to score well.
Yeah, you certainly do. But then at the other end of the spectrum, you want to temper that a little bit. You got to bring it back in one piece. We've seen some boats with cracks in them. We've seen a little bit of damage. The chief and as we used to say back in the day, some of the wood butchers have been busy on some of these boats, fixing some damage that boats have endured out here. Andrew Tate just painted the exit pin up there. He came around slowly, as he did last time, Jeff, if you will remember. He drove very slowly around the race course and then positioned himself very well for an inside lane. Top end of the race course is the bright red U8, the Beacon Electric with J. Michael Kelly. And our boats, not sure they could be spread apart any further from each other on the race course right now.
You're reading my mind once again. Remember, we had that on our last heat. 2B, same scenario right here early on in the warm-up period. And Allen Land Surveying, Unlimited, 3A, 3:15 until the start. Kelly by the start-finish line buoy in the dominant red Beacon Electric. Dylan Runny cut through the infield in the home street blue and white. Miss Home Street, Runny by the start-finish line buoy. Tate just exiting turn number 1 in the white, gold, and black. Goodman Real Estate, 2:55 until the start. Brad, still lots to decide.
There's still lots to decide, reminding our fans when the boats leave the pit area and come onto the race course, they do not have an assigned lane. This is the milling period. As my friend Jeff Ayler likes to say, this is the race before the race. You slice and dice, if you will, for lack of a better term, and you earn your lane based on timing. We've already seen the 80-mile-an-hour rule come into play. You cannot drop below 80 miles per hour. You will be disqualified and receive no points. You've got to keep it up above 80 miles an hour, and then you've got to find the lane you want. Hopefully you have plenty of water to play with. You're on time on the line when the clock strikes 0 with full boat speed. It's all about the start. Now, with 2 seconds mark, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the start. Well, I think I can see how this one's going to lay out, Jeff Ayler. I don't think there's going to be a lot of mystery here. I think we're still going to have Dylan running to the far outside as he is at the top end of the race course behind our other 2 boats. But this time he doesn't have to trail the field.
Exactly, Brad. Runny can come up. Now, you do have to have your lane established, correct, prior to the entrance pin at turn number 2.
That's where, whatever lane, that's a very good call. At the entrance pin to the upper corner, that is the lane you must start in. Whatever lane you're in when you get there, that's where you have to start.
So we still could have the leapfrog activity, but I don't think we're going to see that here. Water conditions have laid down. Lumpy, little soupy, but it's manageable. So Andrew Tate right now, Brad, looks like he'll position himself in lane 1. And Goodman Real Estate, we are 3, 2, 1. Mark. 1 minute period has begun for Allen Land Surveying, H1 Unlimited 3A. J. Michael Kelly will slide in the 2 lane in the dominant red U8 Beacon Plumbing. Dylan Runny will go to the outside in the home street blue and white Miss Home Street. We're coming up on the 40-second mark. Brad Luce, take him up to turn number 2. Bring him to the green flag for Allen Land Surveying, Heat 3A.
Home Street, Goodman Real Estate, Beacon Electric, top end of the race course, inside 30 seconds. Tate in 1, Kelly in 2, Dylan Runny on the outside. Goodman Real Estate's in 1, Beacon Electric in 2. On the outside with boat speed is Dylan Runny. You said it's about a 12-second run off the top of the corner. Boy, they're going to be tight. Kelly's got room in there. They come off the corner at about 10 seconds. Here comes the run. We are inside 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Boy, by my watch, Jeff, they were all a tad early, but we'll call them the way they are on the water. I don't think there's much question that Runny was across. The start is under review. So we'll call them as they are, and the way they are right now is Andrew Tate in the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. He comes off the exit pin with the lead. You can't see the other 2 boats, but you can sure see those rooster tails on the outside. Somewhere out there is J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. Somewhere on the outside is the U1. Dylan running into Miss Home Street, but it's about a 4-boat length lead for Andrew Tate, the Goodman Real Estate, Jeff.
All three jumped the gun according to H1 Unlimited. Andrew Tate, your leader, making a 3-boat length advantage over the Beacon Electric. Dylan Runny falling back in third in Home Street. Brad off the corner. There's Tate. There's Kelly.
Holy cow! Andrew Tate on the inside. He's got Kelly driving right in his right side rear view mirror. Because of the fact everybody jumped the gun, this has become a 4-boat heat. They just put one in the book. There is still 3 more laps to go. It's a 4-lap heat because everybody jumped down to the lower end. It is Andrew Tate still trying to hold up J. Michael Kelly. Dylan Runny has fallen back a little bit in the home street. This is going to come down to a Tate-Kelly showdown. They are a lap and a half in as they're up the backstretch. Kelly's still knocking on the door, Jeff.
So some drama here in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited 3A with all 3 boats jumping the gun. All 3 will have to run 1 extra lap, as Brad Luce said. Into turn number 2, Andrew Tate, your leader, making a 7-boat length advantage over J. Michael Kelly. In the Beacon Electric, Dylan Runny, though, looks like he's trying to go to the buoy row in third in the home street. Brad off the turn, it's Tate. Now he extends it, making 8-boat lengths.
Yeah, he actually gained on lap number 2, and they're going to come down and put 2 in the book. And Tate has now opened up water on J. Michael Kelly. He's got about 6 boat lengths, but Kelly's still knocking on the door. Runny has moved to the inside, but he's back about 2.5, maybe 3 rooster tails. He's not a factor right now, although having moved to the inside lane. Kelly not going to go away on the outside, staying in Andrew Tate's right side rear view mirror. He closed a little bit coming off of the corner, Jeff.
We're just right now at the halfway mark with the gun jumps of all 3 boats in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited 3A, Andrew Tate maintains that 8-boat length advantage. The top 2 entering turn number 2. Tate gets there first, driving clean on the inside, but boy, Kelly trying everything he can to close the deficit. They work around the turn. There is Tate. Where is Kelly? There he is.
Boy, it looks just like it did the last time. They're going to come down and put another one in the book. Tate still got him 7, 8 boat lengths on Kelly, but Kelly's not going away. What is getting my attention right now, Jeff Ayler, is the boat ride out of the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. He hasn't had boat rides like that all weekend long, and he's got the power. Now he's got the boat ride to use it. Kelly hit some rough water down there. You saw the boat bounce, and now Andrew Tate has opened up almost a full rooster tail on J. Michael Kelly.
1/2 lap left in Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited Heat 3A. Now the deficit for Andrew Tate getting more comfortable, but still work to do. Tate, your leader. Kelly still chases in second, but right now we're at the point Kelly might pull. Let Tate go get those 400. Dylan Runny remains in third in Miss Home Street. Final turn, final lap. Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate in front.
Off the top end of the race course, if he can just finish this last piece of straightaway, and he's going to be able to do it, Andrew Tate, U91, Goodman Real Estate is going to pick up 400 points on the water. J. Michael Kelly gave it a valiant effort, but could not run down the 91 Goodman Real Estate. Here comes Dylan Runny, third place finish for our defending national high points champion, the U1, the Miss Home Street. Oh my goodness, there was boat riding at 91 like we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen so far this weekend. He did not have a boat ride like that in the Tri-Cities at the test session. This water was rougher. He was solid as a rock. And we always say it, Jeff, you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have boat ride and can't use it, you just have all the power in the world.
That first heat of the weekend in H1 Unlimited, that's the most important heat. That's your building block to get your point total going. Dustin Eccles is behind the 8-ball. Can he get to the other side of the 8-ball here? Maybe get a win, get to the front row of the Southern Cup Championship.
3 boats are away from the pit area. 3 drones are away from the start-finish line. They took out of here in formation. The drones are going up. Coming off the top end of the race course with 4 minutes and 30 seconds until the start, Corey Peabody driving the 9. The Beacon Plumbing, all white, trimmed in that metallic blue. It's a pretty hydroplane. Man, has Corey been able to make that thing go. The oldest boat on the H1 Unlimited circuit. Here's the guy who needs points and needs them badly. Dustin Eccles, Bucket List Racing.
And I don't want to say what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. These water conditions are good. Let's get this thing going.
If I do not want to say what I'm about to say, these water conditions look pretty good right now. Let's run this thing. The water looks good. Let's go.
We're back to where we were at 8:30 this morning. Come on, Mother Nature, you're doing well.
3 minutes and 35 seconds to the start. Our boats are spread across the backstretch. Top end of the race course, Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing. All white, trimmed in metallic blue. Oh, look at this. Here comes a move across the inside. And, oh, this is going to get a little bit close. No, it's not. No, it's not. Dustin says, I didn't get over here quick enough. He's going to have to move to the outside, I suspect. There he goes. I think he wanted to get in front of Corey and maybe get on the inside of him, but he was too late coming across, Jeff. Remember, for our fans watching this, the boat that is on the race course has priority and has the right-of-way over a boat that is cutting the race course. So Corey had the right-of-way there. It was going to get close if Dustin Eccles wanted to jump in front of him, and had the U9 wanted to just run right up on the back of him, literally, it would have been legal. Dustin made the right move.
Well, best way to put it, it's not put this way, but Eccles needed to yield, and he did. And better yet, better be glad he did, because if not, that could have been a disaster right there in the warm-up period. That's what's so unique about H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Racing. This race before the race. Now, Brad, we have all three boats bunched up at the 2-minute 20-second mark. There's only one lane one. Corey Peabody right now has the best shot of getting it.
Yeah, if Dustin's going to beat him, he's going to have to drive around him. It sure looks that way. I thought maybe Dustin might hang back and cut the race course, but oh, and here comes Jamie Nielsen. He's going to come across. I thought Dustin might do that. And Jamie's going to kill as much time as he can. Remember, he's just got to stay above 80 miles an hour, which he's doing. Once he goes past 2 buoys, then he establishes right away on the front straightaway. He's going to do that at the start-finish line. It's going to be Nielsen in 1, Peabody in 2, Eccles in 3. And they are very close together, side by side, as they come down the front straightaway. That was tight. That was very, very tight, because until they crossed the start-finish line, Jamie Nielsen did not have the right-of-way on that inside lane.
Brad, we've mentioned the past 2 seasons, Jamie Nielsen has a knack of getting lane number 1 in H1 Unlimited. Boy, that was expert tactician driving right there. He will be in lane number 1. We're coming up on the 1-minute period. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. That is the 1-minute period for Allen Land Surveying. H1 Unlimited Heat 3B. Bye-bye. Jamie Nielsen, lane number 1. Corey Peabody, lane number 2. Dustin Eccles, our top qualifier, in lane number 3, would love a win. Would take a second. Brad Luce, 40 seconds away. Bring him down to the green flag for Allen Land Surveying 3B.
Watching one of the drone shots and coming up the backstretch there, sometimes these boats get spread apart quite a ways. They were not. There was only about 10 feet wide between those boats. As they went up the backstretch, they've opened it up a little bit now. Inside 25 seconds, now 20 until the start. It's only about 12 off that corner. They might be a little bit early, coming up on 12 seconds right now, and they are to the exit pin. This should be good. Nielsen in 1, Peabody in 2, on the outside it's Eccles. We're inside 5 seconds. We are 3, 2, 1. Mark, and there goes Corey Peabody. He gets the jump on the field. He broke the clock from lane number 2. Broke the clock, meaning the first one across the line. The start is legal. And on the inside, now on the outside, there you see Corey Peabody. Nielsen is there on the inside, back a couple of boat breaks. And somewhere on the outside, you can see the rooster tail out there, our top qualifier, Dustin Eccles. But they're running 3 wide down the backstretch, and once again, Corey Peabody is off to the races, Jeff.
Peabody in front, flying up the back straightaway. Dustin Eccles is hidden in the rooster tail. Now we go to the drone shot. Peabody in 2. Now Nielsen will tighten it up on the inside. He will go to second. Eccles in third. Peabody in front. Deck to deck dueling for second.
Watch out for Dustin. Where is he? There he is. He slides to the outside. Corey Peabody. We're going to go 3 times around. The start was legal. Peabody, he's got 1 up and 1 down with 2 to go. Then it's Nielsen on the inside. Dustin Eccles, he needs those second place points, Jeff, but he's having to ride a big race course right now because he is on the outside of Corey Peabody. Look at Nielsen stay with Corey on the inside. Legend Yacht Transport not going away from that left side mirror on Corey Peabody. The boat driving the hardest right now is Dustin Eccles in Bucket List Racing. He needs those second place points.
We're at the halfway mark of Allen Land Surveying. Unlimited 3B, Corey Peabody comfortably in front, but the story in 3B is the second place battle between Jamie Nielsen and Dustin Eccles. Nielsen obviously with the advantage, running the shorter way around on the buoy row. Eccles needs to try to pass Nielsen, get those 300 points. Peabody in front, Braddock side by side dueling for second.
Coming out to put 2 in the books with 1 to go. Corey Peabody getting a great boat ride, but it is Jamie Nielsen driving the daylights out of that Legend Yacht Transport. He is hanging on to second place. He knows how big this is for Dustin. Dustin knows he's got to get those second place points. He wants to be on the front row of the final. But Jeff, he is driving that big race course, having to be on the outside of Corey Peabody's wash. Peabody's gone. Got a rooster tail and a half. And now look at Nielsen in the Legend Yacht Transport. Got almost a rooster tail on Eccles.
Peabody in front, Nielsen now comfortably in second. Eccles tried to get as close to Peabody's rooster tail to cover less real estate, got a little wet, then had to swing outside. 1, 2, 3 in 3B. Peabody, Nielsen, Eccles. Brad, bring him to the checkered flag.
Top end of the race course, Corey Peabody. Nobody has solved this puzzle yet this weekend. Checkered flag flies. Corey Peabody, Beacon Plumbing U9 will pick up the win on the water for 400 points. Jamie Nielsen with a great run in Legend Yacht Transport, and it's Dustin Eccles with a solid 3rd place finish. Oh boy, and now the point totals are going to be fruit salad. It's looking good, Jeff. The boat is running like a rocket.